Good evening, everyone. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General 30A and 20, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Dalton Selectboard will be conducted via remote participation. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch the open session portion of the meeting may do so by viewing on Dalton Community Cable TV on channel 1301 or via the Zoom link on our agenda. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the open session portion of the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite our best efforts, we will post on the town's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of the proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. Okay, I'd like to call this meeting of the Select Board to order, please. And all those who are able, please stand up for the pledge. And Dan Esco, could you lead us in the pledge, please?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, Brittany, will you do the roll call? Mark Strauss excused.
Sure thing. We have Chair Robert Bishop.
Here.
John Boyle.
Here.
Dan Esco.
Here.
And Joseph Diver.
There's some.
Joe Diver.
It was here.
He is here.
Here. Yeah. I'm here.
Okay. Our interim town manager, Sandra Albano,
Here.
with Mark Strout being excused.
Correct. Okay, there are no minutes, so we'll move down to the next portion. This time the public may address the board on any item listed on the meeting agenda or any issue or matter of the town. If you intend on addressing the board at this time, we ask you to do the following. Use our Zoom link or dial 684-6111, extension 28. Please identify yourself by name, address, or the company/institution you represent. Public address to the board segment will last no longer than 30 minutes. Please make your comments concise and try not to repeat statements made by others. Please address your comments to the board chair. Discussion or debate on any issue may not take place at this time. The chair or the designee may answer questions on procedural matters. Please be cordial and respectful of others. If anyone wishes to be recognized when the board discusses an agenda item, please make that request at this time. The board chair may grant this request, address comments to the board chair, and be concise. Is there anyone out there that would like to address the board on any items? Richard?
Hi, Mr. Chairman. If I could be recognized for number 13, the trees.
Yeah.
Sorry, Richard Hall, 164 Green Ridge Drive.
Okay, Richard. Anyone else? Dan?
It's not about the agenda tonight, Mr. Bishop, but I am working on the community operations, continuity of operations plan. It's something we started last year. I'll be sending some requests for information to members of the select board. If they could review it when they get it and send it back to me, I would appreciate it. Just so you know what it's for. It's a document that the MEMA requires the town to have. So I'm just working on getting it together. And I will be sending things out to you and the other select board members.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else, Dan?
Not at this time, thank you.
Okay.
Anything you have, you know, I'll jump in where I'm needed.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay. We'll go to item 6, the Dalton Community Cable annual franchise fee. Mr. Divers.
Bob, I have something to say about that franchise fee.
Okay, Sandy, go for it.
So this franchise fee actually belongs to the town of Dalton. I didn't catch it when I was looking at the agenda. I just assumed it was the, quarterly one that we normally send. But then when I was looking at the information sent with the packet, I realized that this fee is given to the town of Dalton on the quarterly basis. We pay monthly a franchise fee to the state, and they're giving us back some of that money, and they do this every year on an annual basis. So
Okay.
it mistakenly got requested to be paid to Dalton Community Cable.
Okay, so we'll table this?
Yeah, I guess you could do that.
Yep, okay. Motion to table, please.
I mean, if we don't have a motion, we just keep the money in the town of Dalton coffers, right?
Yes.
Right.
Right, Sandy?
Yes.
Then we shouldn't do anything.
Okay, we won't act on it. I'm fine with that. Everybody good with that?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, we'll do this.
Hey, Sandy, just out of curiosity, how much was it?
$915. It's a little bit less than we've gotten before. We got maybe almost 1,100 before. So the fees are
Wow.
less, so we're getting
We're
less.
rich.
Yeah.
Okay, number 7, the appointments of the COA. Mr. Divers.
And Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the appointment of Dustin Puchinsky of 231 Main Street to the Dalton Council of Aging Board.
Second.
Okay, a motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote. John,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
and Bob, yes. Thank you, Dustin, and welcome to the board. We appreciate it. Okay, is Jane on yet?
Yeah.
I am.
Okay. Are you ready, young lady there?
I think I am. I think I am ready.
Okay, go for it, Jane.
So I'll tell you, at the end of last week, I was getting really nervous watching the numbers in Dalton creep up, and they have leveled off. And so I'm, as of in this very moment, I'm a lot less concerned that we're going to go into red. But one of the things that I had talked to Bob about is, we're due to start next Monday, opening the town hall. And so I just, and I talked to Bob and Sandy about maybe having some sort of policy that would kind of guide the decision making for when town hall is going to be open. In other words, it doesn't make sense to wait while it's green, so that's great, or gray, and we're doing really well. That's kind of when the decision making happens to open town hall. And in this case, by the time we opened it, numbers had started creeping up. So I just wanted to revisit this with the board. I was afraid we might have gone into red, and that does not appear that is going to happen. Last week we were in yellow, and I believe that we'll be in yellow again this week. But just wanted to have a conversation around that process, and Pat's on here too. And really thinking about for the long term, we've talked internally about some ideas, including Pat's looking at getting that divider put up inside, but then also really looking at finding out what kind of intercom system would make sense, so that we're really serving the residents the best way we can. This is a frustrating time on a regular day, and we don't want to add any agitation to people. So that's one piece that I wanted to talk to you about. Are there any thoughts about, because we had discussed if we were going to go into red, it was going to be my recommendation that we not reopen as scheduled on the 5th. And I wanted to check in with the board to see what you guys thought about knowing that cases have leveled off. I'm looking at the numbers right now, and if we don't have any, as of Saturday, because it takes a couple days for the tests to come in. As of Saturday, we only had 18 cases in the previous 2 weeks. And I did not receive any additional ones for Sunday yet, which is Sunday is when the state pulls the report. It needs to be under 25 for us to remain in yellow. And we're at 18.
So Jane, are you asking for our recommendation on how to manage the opening and closing of the town hall based upon the numbers that are reviewed by Board of Health and reported? Is that what you're more or less asking?
Yeah, well, I guess there's two questions. One is, with the numbers going up like they were last week, it was going to be my recommendation if that continued that we did not reopen town hall. The numbers have leveled off, so I wanted the board to weigh in on that. I feel like you guys are the ones that are hearing from the residents, whether they're frustrated, whether it's working, and so that's one question that I have for the board. And then, I wanted to find out, the second thing is are you guys open to having some sort of a policy that, so that we're not having, that we know that, for instance, if Dalton goes into red, that town hall is going to close, for instance.
I have no problem with going into red, closing the town hall, not at all, because that's the right thing to do.
I would lean towards the Board of Health recommendation in coordination with the town manager. If the Board of Health says, hey, we don't recommend it being open, you take steps and just go ahead and take that.
Close her up, yep.
Okay.
Do we need a formal motion on that, or do we?
Well, let's vote on it.
All right, so for the policy, I motion that we rely on the recommendation of the Board of Health and in coordination with our town manager of opening and closing town hall based upon the data they're seeing related to COVID.
Okay,
Second.
okay. The motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote. John?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
And Bob, yes. Okay, Jane, you got it.
All right, and then I also, we will be putting out information, we got the flyer together, so I'd like to request that the information about the Household Hazardous Waste Day be posted or read at maybe perhaps the next meeting, if that's okay, just as part of the effort to get the word out that there will be a Household Hazardous Waste Day this spring, just because there was, because we weren't able to get the fall household hazardous waste opportunity out to people. And I feel like this is going to be really important for people to know. It's going to be on Saturday, May 15th from 9 to 1. And there is a link and all sorts of ways to sign up. There's also a phone number that you can call to sign up at Tri-Town Health Department. And so I just wanted to make a concerted effort to make sure that Dalton residents are aware of that and have the opportunity to get rid of that household hazardous waste versus disposing of it improperly.
Sounds good, Jane. We'll put it on the next agenda.
Jane, for the benefit of the public, is there a fee or fees connected with this disposal operation?
No, sir. It is built into the budget. And so there are no fees associated with it. There's different, when you register, you put what you plan on bringing and you get a quarter of a car, a half a car, or a full car. I believe that there might be some items that there is a fee, but by and large, it's free to the residents. It's built as into the budget. And we really encourage people to take advantage of this opportunity to get rid of their waste. It will be posted in our website, hopefully tomorrow.
Okay. I think it's important to mention that there's no fee. Whoever puts it on the website. Encourage people to go down there.
Absolutely. Thank you, John.
Yep. I think Dan Filio's trying to get your attention.
Hey, Dan.
I've posted that on the emergency management site. I think it'd be important to make sure people understand that they have to take the items to Lee. It's not going to be local. If people think it's going to be behind the town hall or something like that, Could be some confusion, but it's on your flyer, but mentioning it verbally is not a bad idea.
Okay, yes, it will be at the Lee Transfer Station. Thank you.
Thank you.
Normally it's when it's in Pittsfield, I think it's at their sewage treatment plant, and we will have that opportunity in the fall, but the spring offering that we're doing this year is in Lee. And thank you for that. We'll make sure that that's in the wording proposed to the select board, Dan. Thank you.
Yep. In addition, Jane, I'm not sure if anybody knows where the Lee transfer station is. Is it on 102 in South Lee?
Oh, we'll put the address on there as well.
Okay.
Yeah. This is
I
all
think it
good,
is.
yeah.
They got a brand new one. I think it's in South Lee on 102 between Stockbridge and East Lee.
Yeah. John,
So it's
looks
at
like the,
379 Pleasant Street. I don't know if that's the same as 102 or not.
Yeah. I don't know either.
So, all right, well, we'll make sure that that's very
Yep,
clear. And
okay.
I appreciate this feedback.
Okay, so one clarification, Jane, are we opening the town hall to the public on Monday?
I'm going to talk to Dr. Doyle about it, and I will have a recommendation for the town manager for tomorrow, and we will make that decision.
Okay.
Does that sound agreeable to the board?
Yeah, and
Sounds great.
we'll just need to put on the website and hopefully in the paper, so,
Okay, got it.
alrighty. Okay. Is there any concerns about schools opening, like they're supposed to, like next week?
They're having their meeting on Thursday, but the school reopening has been really a state mandated reopening, and so there's just not a whole lot locally. The decision making, especially if we remain in yellow, I don't think that there's going to be a lot of options other than opening.
Okay. Sounds
Yeah,
good.
it's been put in the governor's hands for this.
Alrighty. I have 3 eager grandkids, I can't wait.
I will say though, for the reopening in the school, so what's different now than was this spring or this fall is they have Binax Now testing, so they can test symptomatic individuals right at the site and find out if they're positive or negative right there. And they're also participating in the pool testing. We want to encourage as many people as possible to participate in that pool testing, because that really does give us an idea of identifying early pre-symptomatic any potential cases, but also just kind of give us a sense of how our school's doing in general.
Okay. All right, thank you, Jane.
You're welcome, Bob.
Okay, anything else for Jane? Are you all set, Jane?
I think I am.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jane.
You're very welcome.
Okay, next on the agenda is the stop sign on Central Avenue and 2nd Street. Dan Esco has presented the board, asking the board to get a stop sign there. And now Dan Filio needs the board to say if we agree with that. So, am I right, Dan Filio?
I want to make sure I'm not
now you're on again.
Not you, Dan.
how's this?
Good.
We just for the traffic commission had the select board request it to be looked at. I just want to make sure, because of the nature of the request, that it comes from the select board.
Okay. So do we have a consensus on the select board to have the traffic commission look into this? My vote is yes.
Yes.
Okay, Dan, is that good enough, or do you need a formal vote?
Just, if you're happy with it, I'll be happy with it.
Okay, we're happy with it.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, next is item 10, the East Houstonic Street and Carson Avenue Bridge. John, you want to talk about this?
Yeah, I'll try to make it short here. A brief history. Back around 2000, probably even earlier than that, the town and the state commissioned an engineering study with the thought to reconstruct the total length of Houstonic Street and East Houstonic Street, with a sidewalk all the way on the north side from Route 8 down to Route 9. And at the bridge, which is also known to old timers as the High Bridge, there was to be a walkway. They were going to cantilever the bridge, make it a little bit wider, which was good, structurally repair it, which it needed, as they had worked on since 1988, and they were going to put this walkway, which is going to be 3 meters wide, or approximately 8 or 9 feet. Now, what happened was, because of cost constraints, probably around 2012, 2013, don't forget, this project went on for 20 years before it was completed. And because of cost considerations, it was too high, too much of an expense. The state wanted some of the things knocked out of it. So they took it upon themselves to remove the bridge thing, which was $5.5 million, I think, but a minimum of $5 million at that time. Now, it sounds like a lot, but it's a very complex job because of the environmental issues, the utility issues that run underneath that bridge, 2 sewer mains, a large water main. I'm not sure about gas. Anyway, it was shown. So I think in 2014 or 15, they actually started the reconstruction of the street. And, the sidewalk was eliminated too, from Depot Street down to Main Street. 2014, 15, they put out the bid, they finally started the job. And lo and behold, the sidewalk for the whole north side of the project got reinstated. Except when you get down to the bridge, it got dead-ended because there was nowhere to go with it. Same with the bike path, which accompanies the bridge. You get to the bridge, there's no way to go except to deviate your path onto the bridge into oncoming traffic. This is not only for pedestrians, bicyclists, but also the town equipment for clearing sidewalks has to go down the hill or up the hill, doesn't make any difference, get off the sidewalk and deviate their equipment onto the bridge. Obviously, this is a very unhealthy situation. So, how do we remedy this? The state is not going to pay $5 to $7 million to do this, nor is the town of Dalton. But we have an opportunity now before us when the U.S. government is considering an infrastructure bill, which means bridges and roads and etc. on a national level. Now, where do we come in? The guy is in charge of this. His name is Richard Neal. If that name rings any bell, he's a congressman from our district. And he's a very good friend of Dalton. Also, he's very conscientious about taking care of what's known as the western part of his district, Berkshire County. So, my thought was we'd find the engineering. And lo and behold, John Ruffley was able to find it this afternoon. And I emailed you guys a copy, but I know you probably haven't had a chance or an opportunity to look at it, but it shows the proposed, they call it proposed pedestrian bridge. And it would be on the north side of the bridge, and as I said, it would start back where the sidewalk ends and go and basically end near South Carson Avenue. My thoughts were, if we could put together an engineering proposal, because now we have the engineering, the original plan, and claim that this is a real necessity, which it is. Also, it was deleted from a federally funded project to start with, and we would have a good case, and along with Congressman Neal's help, we could get this into the infrastructure budget and possibly receive reimbursement for this potential project. Now, I've been working on this with John Ruffley, who definitely supports it. I've talked to Dan Filio and the Traffic Commission, and they're going to discuss that at one of their meetings. I'm certain they'll recognize the pedestrian and vehicular accident possibilities there. although nothing has happened yet in 2 years since the project's been finished. In my mind, it's a disaster waiting to happen. So, I kind of went forward on this on my own. I mentioned it 2 or 3 meetings ago. I'd like to get the board's thoughts. If you think I should push ahead with this, I will. If you think it's crazy talk, I'll just drop it.
John,
Any questions or thoughts?
how much would the engineering study cost?
Well, no, I think Bob's already done.
Okay,
This is the cover picture of it,
okay.
of the engineer.
Yeah,
It might be a little updated.
updated.
We got it from, John got it from me from GPI. So it might need a little sprucing up, and I also would ask them to put it in I would ask GPI to put it in presentation form with like a cover letter outlining the necessity and the history of this project, and also traffic commission recommendations, highway recommendations, desire of the town to see this completed, things like that. Put it into one presentation and submit it to Mr. O'Neill's office for inclusion in the infrastructure bill.
What would it hurt to try?
That's what I say. Yeah.
Because that would solve a lot of problems there. That's pretty narrow right there.
Oh, the bridge is, yeah, definitely we want to make the bridge a little wider.
Yeah, especially if there's somebody on the bridge when you're coming down, there's traffic coming both ways. It's really not a good.
Yeah, there's pedestrians now have to go out there, and so do bicyclists. Dan, did you want to say something? I mean,
If I may, just say, you can hear me, right?
yep.
Yes.
I hate that mute button. Just in support of what John's telling you, I can tell you that the part of the TIP program includes the Mass Highway looking at bridges and proposing bridges for reconstruction. There is nothing on the horizon for that bridge through the TIP program, so it's not something that they're going to be doing, I'd say, in the next up to 10 years.
Yeah, a minimum, Dan, yep.
Right. So that's just as, to support what John's saying about the think forward. Mass Highway does have control over all construction and everything on the bridge, bridges and stuff, but that would be something that if we put a project forward, that if it was going to be a federal project, they would work with them on that. So, but just so you know, I have informed the local Mass DOT that it is something that the town of Dalton may be looking at, just so that it's not a surprise for them. And we just can take it from there, whatever way the board wants to go.
Dan, just to mention the bridge again in the state, I think that bridge is 20, in the whole state, 2,500th on the list. But that's for standard maintenance.
Right.
They would never spring for the walkway and pay for that.
Well, they might, but if they did, it would be somewhere on the plan. And if you say it's somewhere in the 2,500s on the bridge, it's not far away from doing what they're going to do.
I mean, I just think this is an opportunity of a lifetime. We've got nothing to lose. Might have to spend a few bucks on with the GPI, the engineering company, to put a little presentation together, spend a couple of hours time or hours wages, and just hand it in and see what happens.
I like the idea, but the only comment I have for the board is if we're going to make an ask of our federal rep on an infrastructure project, are there other infrastructure needs of the town that are higher priority, sewer, et cetera, or anything else of that nature that's underneath that we don't see that could be at risk? Because I'm sure if we make an ask, we're not going to get both or all. So I'm just kind of raising that question, but we are going to make an ask of
So I would just say one thing. I think the chairman said it, when we received, or we're going to receive, the $644,000, which was in the stimulus bill. We can only use it on certain things, but one of them that stuck out in my mind when Bob said it, that it can be used on rebuilding your sewer system as a capital improvement. So I think that would be the ideal place to use that money. And I think that's one of the big things that's on the horizon.
Sure is. Well, board members, Dan, do you have anything to let, add? Dan Esco.
I'm in general support of John's idea here, but I do like Joe's suggestion that we examine other infrastructure needs in the town to weigh the priorities, to kind of weigh them against each other and determine what the priorities are if we're going to make an ask at this level. Do municipalities commonly get funding for sewer infrastructure through federal programs, or is this more of a state thing?
Are you talking, yeah, I don't know, you're talking about the infrastructure bill that's before Congress right now?
The infrastructure bill that will be before Congress, has it actually made it to Congress yet, or?
Well, it's servicing right now.
Yeah.
It is extraordinarily political, getting your project in the bill. It's a long shot doing this. I mean, off the top of my head, if we don't act now and get something there, I'm convinced within the next week, 10 days, might as well forget about it.
Okay, well, that
nothing
sense of
comes
urgency.
to my mind except the sewer system.
Well, without a solid ask regarding the sewer system, and we don't really have any plans.
The infrastructure bill has a little bit of a uphill climb here, so maybe we talk to one of the Congress reps or aides, because the White House is just in the middle of procuring it, so it hasn't reached the Congress desk for any type of negotiation or ask or pork for that matter. So I think we get some time, but maybe we can do an outreach to the congressman's office and start the conversation. And because Dalton definitely has some needs along the way, so I don't think we need to act quick as I look at the time, as I look at where it is now.
Okay.
Another comment I would have is would like to obviously discuss with the new town manager kind of a larger strategy, but we may not have the time for that either. I don't know. I mean, it all depends on timing. So I'm in support of approaching Rep. Neal about our request for this bridge. If we can add other requests in there, great. If not, I think we should probably strike while the iron's hot.
I agree, Dan.
Yeah, I'd agree with that too, Dan.
Okay, so let's go with that. Who's gonna contact Neil?
Mr. Boyle?
I mean, I don't like to get into this as a public meeting, but I know the guy personally. I think, you know, in conjunction with John Ruffley and Dan, Julio, and put this presentation together and bring it to his office and ask him, you know, either his top aide or him personally to insert it into the infrastructure bill. But I think we have to move very quickly because everybody else now is fully knowledgeable that they're going to consider a national infrastructure budget. Everybody in the rest of the country is going to have the same thoughts.
Okay, my thoughts is go with it, John.
All right. Hey, I'll keep the board posted. Believe me.
Okay.
I think the question is. I think the question is not to just submit that project, but the question is, what opportunity do we have? And if we have to strike with the iron hot, then go ahead. But if we have options to assess other needs, then we need to assess those needs.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure what you mean, Joe.
What I'm saying is just don't go ahead and put the bridge in front of them, but rather ask the question of what opportunities do we have here to get some things for Dalton. And if it has to be now, that's the shovel-ready project we have on top of mind. Without knowing the
that's a good point. If we got the engineering, so this can be considered a shovel-ready project. Hey.
Is that one of the requirements, shovel ready?
No,
it certainly helps.
No, that's just a term they've used. So what I don't want to miss is other opportunities for Dalton.
Well, Joe, then I'll just back off. That's all.
That's not what I'm saying.
No, Mr. Boyle,
That's not what we're saying, John.
Well, I don't understand. Really, I don't understand what you're saying. This is a bridge and highway infrastructure plan.
Yeah, I think what Joe's saying is, when you talk to them, see what else is available that we could do. See if it's only for the bridge, or if we can put other projects in there with it.
Well, I mean, wouldn't getting $5 to $7 million for a bridge, I mean, be enough for the town?
$5 to $7 million for soil work would be probably a higher priority. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question because we haven't done the analysis.
Bob, I think John Rubley wants to say something.
Is he on? Go ahead,
Yep.
John.
Yeah, just real quick. I think the major thing here is engineering. For these projects, the town is responsible for the engineering costs. And if we can use these plans for this project at minimal cost, we'll be in good shape. If we have anything bigger than this or the same size project, there's no way the town has the money for the engineering on for any of it. I mean, I don't see us getting $1 million or $500,000 for engineering right now. That's just my thought. So I'm just saying, I think it's a good project if we get a break on the engineering and we don't have to come up with all that money. I think that's why John's saying we should put it forward for that reason, is mainly the engineering. It's the biggest cost on our part. It's the only cost on our part.
Hey, thank you.
Just
Go ahead. You all set, John?
Sure.
Okay. Guys, what do you want to do?
I said we have Mr. Boyle reach out to Rep. Neal's office and begin that conversation. Meanwhile, I believe we're going to have to put together, they'll have to work on putting together some sort of presentation. But this looks like a good opportunity that we could potentially get a little slice of that pie. Other infrastructure projects that the town may need, we don't have any engineering for anyway. So if we can move quickly, if there's other opportunities available, let's do it. If not, then this looks like a great opportunity right before us.
Okay, Joe?
I'd rather know the other infrastructure projects or the needs of the town before I make a decision on this, so I'm going to abstain from the conversation.
Okay. All right, well, I think the other consensus, John, is just seek it out, see where we go with it, okay?
All right.
And in the meantime, if something else comes up, at the same time, we can do it, maybe we can switch, I don't know, maybe we can switch gears if we found a more pressing project, but I don't think the engineering costs are gonna be there, so.
Speaking of engineering costs, we got to start thinking about probably around $1 million engineering costs for Dalton Division Road.
Yeah, there's 800,000 approved on that. So,
That's already approved, Bob?
yeah,
There's a
800,000 was no?
borrowing authorized already,
Okay, good.
but we do need more.
gonna have a soda can drive.
Yeah, I guess that goes to my point, is like, what other infrastructure projects do we have that are ready to go or are in plans? I mean, that would be another interesting one in collaboration with Pittsfield and Dalton, and get the Dalton Division Road done from the federal perspective, federal funding.
Dalton Division Road is already a federal project. Construction work on that would be federal money.
Then that sounds like even more alignment as well.
But it comes from a different fund.
So that's already approved?
Yes, the amounts for that have already been approved. It's in the TIP program, and it's available for our use once we have everything forward. It's set up for us to, I want to say 2026, was the last date they gave us. The money is allocated towards us. It's already money that's actually given to the state, which then allocates to the individual counties.
To reconstruct the whole road, Dan?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay. We're done on this one?
Well, John Ruffley wanted to say something.
Go ahead.
I just real quick wanted to fill you in on Dalton Division. Our quote came in for the engineering on that from one firm, and it came in at 1.2 million, which is pretty much around what we expected. Like Sandy said, we have 800,000. So, yeah, I just wanted to give you that information.
Okay, thank you.
Bob, before you move away from the traffic issues, I'd like to make a mention of something, please.
Sure, go, Dan.
This is also has to do with Houstonic Street. Last week, we had residents on the Houstonic Street contact John Ruffley. He and I have been looking at it. They're requesting having some guardrails removed at 440 East Houstonic Street. So John and I have been doing the research on that. He has asked the Traffic Commission to take a look at it. I just wanted the board to be aware of it. We've been in contact with State Highway. There are millions of directions on where to put a guardrail up and how to put it up. There is zero that I've been able to find on how to take one down. So we're working on that just in case the people contact the select board's office or town manager's office also about it. We are moving forward, getting the information we can to move forward with what that project is.
Thanks for the heads up. Okay, you all set, Dan?
Yes, sir. Thank you for the time.
No, thank you. Okay, next on our agenda, I want to move item 11 down to item right underneath the FY 222 budgets, because we have people waiting in the wings here. And I'd like to jump to number 12, the location of skateboard park next, and what we want to do about that. I saw Glenn Lagerwell on here, I do believe. Glenn, you still there?
I believe Glenn left.
Oh, he's waiting again. He should be coming in.
Okay.
And he's muted.
Hey, he's over here now.
Okay.
Is he in?
Yep.
Hey, Glenn.
Hey, sorry about that. I lost internet.
Okay. So, this all started with the ramps accidentally getting thrown away at Pine Grove Park. So we're thinking, let's kind of come up with a place for the kids, because I think more than likely they're going to end up opening them basketball courts this summer. Instead of moving the kids twice, let's see if we can find them a spot where they can just kind of habitat for a while until we figure out our whole park plans and whatnot. So Glenn and Dan Esco have been scouting around, and Glenn, what do you got going?
Well, the only, the two places that stuck out were, there's a small basketball court over at Chamberlain. It's not really being used. It's really small pad though. It would have to be worked over there. And it's awful close to the baseball field. And the other spot would be to find a spot over in Pine Grove itself. And the question was, can we just dig up and put a couple strips of pavement down and have a flat area over there to let the kids skateboard and scooter on? There is a couple areas one's over by the swing set on the backside in between the softball field and the swing set in the pavilion on next to the road, and the other one might be more on the other side of the pavilion over by the dugout. Those were the kind of the two flat in-town areas that we would have available. I did call the highway department, and I spoke to Heather. I didn't speak to John yet about it, just to see if she said there's no paving projects coming up. The thought being it might be able to, if we just cleaned out an area and put a couple strips of like a 40 by 40 black-topped pad down in one of those areas and let them use that, like you said, until we can figure out the bigger plan for the town. But I haven't heard back from John yet, so I'm not sure. But Heather said there's no major paving projects coming up. It would probably have to be something that's standalone. I don't know a cost or anything like that. I was kind of relying roughly about that, but I didn't hear back from him. So
Okay, he's here online. Let me ask him. John, you still there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got Glenn's message. I've been looking at those spots that he suggested. I talked to the CRA, Dustin and Eric, to get their input on it. Pine Grove doesn't really seem to be a good option, just due to the fact that the CRA runs programs over there all summer long. They have a lot of kids over there. They set up bouncies and all kinds of stuff for the kids throughout the summers. And then one of Dustin's other issues with that was the softball team uses that area as well for their pitching or whatever. So that didn't really seem like a popular spot. Chamberlain is a good option, we thought. The only thing we were worried about with Chamberlain is vandalism. Not much the skateboarders doing vandalism, but people doing vandalism to their equipment just because it's out of the way. Not a lot of people go down to that part of the park. So I didn't know if that was something Glenn thought of. And we can hook up Glenn, this week or whatever. But those were that's what we got so far.
Is there any room behind the CRA that they could use?
They, I guess they've already been shagged out of there. I guess they were using that area for a while, and Eric said and again, this could be totally separate group of kids, but there was some vandalism back there. Eric said there were bricks being thrown all over, and the CRA, they don't want it back there.
Okay.
how about we ran into the initial problem was the senior center parking lot. So the kids were on that secondary parking lot for the senior center, and I'm not sure whether it was a senior center issue or whether it was a neighborhood issue, but is there anywhere over there? I mean, the Nessicus property, I understand, the town voted for the housing, but I don't see the housing going in there for a while.
Not for a long time, Glenn.
Well, is that something over there that we could look at, that piece of property, give them their own separate area? I don't see so much that little field behind the senior center where they put the exercise equipment, but more maybe towards the Glennon Avenue side or somewhere in there, or can we do something? Is that feasible?
So again, Bob, if I may, we did talk about that area too. I actually suggested that area because a few years back there was a basketball court there that we tore out. I thought it'd be a great area, but they're using it for soccer now. I guess with COVID, they have minimal restrictions with the schools, and they're having issues trying to find fields. So they're using that area right now for soccer. So I don't know.
John, are they using the front or are they using the back?
They're using the back, that back corner by, you're saying over by Glennon Ave, maybe.
Right, so somewhere over.
Separate area, okay.
Over there is and we had a discussion about using that for recreation. The problem was when the old Nessicus was torn down, it was never backed it was never meant for that. They just kind of filled it in and back dragged it, and now there's a lot of rocks, and I know there's the sewer line goes through there. There's some manhole cover, so I don't know that it's necessarily good for any sort of playing field or putting soccer or anything out front, but maybe, is that something, if they can't use that parking lot at the senior center, maybe we can have them designate their own area, or we can do something off to the side, maybe more in the middle, more towards Glennon Avenue, to get them. I'm not sure was the problem before the senior center, or was it the neighborhood?
I can speak to that, Glenn. It was some of the neighbors. The senior center actually liked the kids there.
Nope.
So,
What about that area over where the old driveway used to go through, out onto Glendon Avenue? Is that driveway still left there, or part of it, or is it seeded over?
I think that was all seeded over with the project.
Right.
But I mean, it's an area there. But again, if this is something, it's still in the general vicinity of where that parking lot was, so is it still going to be a neighborhood problem?
If you keep them away from the houses, I don't think it would be. I mean, you put them out in the middle there,
So the only other issue with that area that could come up, if you voted on that, it would have to be very temporary, because we have the Walker Brook project.
Right.
That there's going to be some major engineering and discussions about where that new brook or culvert are going to go through there. So again, if it were voted to be put there, it would have to be known that it may have to come out if with this
Right.
Walker Brook project. So
What about do the carnival?
up at the Legion.
Anybody consider the carnival over there where they put the carnival?
Oh, that's
It's
not
private property to
that's
start with.
private property. It's the Legion's property.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
No, it's a good thought though.
Yeah, it'd be perfect.
John, and this is kind of, the question's going to come up, and I know, to put down a 2-inch thick blacktop, say 40 by 40 pad, how much, I'm not going to hold you to a figure, but what would we be looking at for an expense?
I don't know. I can
1,600 square
figure it out
feet.
here. I'll figure it out before the end of the meeting. Probably get you a pretty accurate price.
When they work on sidewalks, they say that a sidewalk is about $100 a square foot. So that might be something you could run and use that as a running number. Granted, there's different construction constraints you have to do with that and such, but that's the number they usually throw out for that.
Yeah, that's concrete too, so that's more. But yeah,
Go to
get
80.
you an idea.
Glenn, do you think that's what it would take? 1,600 square feet? Sounds like a lot.
16 grand.
16 grand?
Well, at 100 a square feet, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
Or is it?
I'm just trying to, I just kind of walked out an area and looking at what they're doing on the basketball court, in other areas, I just kind of, 40 by 40 was and you're looking at, and I'm also looking at what they're doing at the senior center and how many, how many kids were there and putting them all in one area and what's a decent size area, not overdoing it, but also, is a 20 foot by 20 foot area, going to be too small. There were a lot of kids that, you look at the basketball court or you looked over at the senior center, at any time there were probably 25 or 30 kids there. So I was just trying to figure, that's a rough.
Yep.
So I was just throwing that out as a figure. Of course, that can all be adjusted.
No, I had no idea. They still use that baseball, softball field over at Pine Grove down in the southeast corner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Girls softball uses that for the high school.
100 square feet is actually 160,000. Sorry. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
I think if you said 16 to 20,000, you'd be pretty close with it, you know.
Okay.
I mean, I had one more question, actually. Maybe Sandy could have Dawn check it out, but our insurance company is pretty strict on some things, and that should probably be looked at as well before we make any huge decisions.
Yeah, the liability.
Yeah.
Well, in the interim, since they're not playing basketball there, can we let them at least go back to Pine Grove for the interim until we figure this out?
I think that's a good idea, Bob.
Should we check
Because
out
they're
the,
not playing basketball there right now, and I don't think that's gonna happen right away.
should we check out the insurance liability first?
We can, Sandy, but they've been doing it right along, so.
Well, they break a leg.
Right.
Yeah, but people can ride their bikes all over the park and break their legs riding bikes, so let's
Yeah.
not,
I'm not too worried
It's
about it. I
town
mean,
property, so we have general liability on it. But we may need a beefed up type of insurance for this type of activity.
skateboarding always causes a lot of problems in towns.
I say let them play there and check out their insurance. If it gets to a point where we can't do it, then we just have to tell them no. But I mean, these kids, they're good kids. And they're just looking for a place to, do their thing. That skateboarding is getting to be a big thing in the United States. It's even an Olympic sport now. So, I think they should be able to go over there for now until it shouldn't take too long to find out the insurance thing.
Yep.
Yeah, it is something temporary. I think, we've had numerous conversations about the direction that the town's going to take in terms of, developing recreation and all that kind of stuff, and all that can be included. I mean, we look at Pittsfield is adding, $275,000 onto their skate park over by Appleton Ave, and North Adams just put one in, and Lee just put one in. So it is, like you said, it is getting popular, and they just, they want to go somewhere, and they do want to do it right, and I've had conversations with all those kids, and they point them in a direction. All they want is a spot where, they're not going to be bothered. So
I think in the short term, Bob suggested is the best. Let them utilize that area over at Pine Grove Park.
I think
until we come up with permanent's a tough word, but
I think our
a different
liability,
solution.
our liability comes into play if the equipment is ours and we feel to maintain it.
Yep.
So is the equipment the town's, or is it the kids' equipment that they bring over for the park?
It's their own equipment.
Okay.
And
So we put up some at your own risk signs and check the
Yep.
liability, and then just use the space.
the other thing too is that basketball court is in pretty rough shape. And there's a very nice basketball court down at Greenwich Park if they really want to play basketball. So, I mean, there's another court available, and there's that small one up at Chamberlain also.
Bob, real quick, if I could.
Sure.
So, with all that said, that was another area that Dustin mentioned, was maybe Greenridge for that court for skating. They are going to come to the board and Jane and ask them soon if they can get the basketball courts back. If not full-time, they do have their sanctioned summer leagues that they do, and if they get beyond this COVID thing this year, they are going to ask the board if they can hold their sanctioned basketball events there. So just keep in mind that that's coming very soon from them. They want to be able to. The CRA would like to be able to use the courts again this year for their camps and.
Okay, well, maybe we can make a deal.
We can use Greenridge.
All right, well, let's put them at Pine Grove for now until we have to move them, and then we're gonna move them, we'll find a spot to move them, and then we can, negotiate with the CRA and see what we can come up with for the kids, because there is quite a few kids that are doing it. I mean, I see them all over the street. I'd rather see them over there than I'm trying to do it on the streets. I've seen them doing it down the sidewalks and stuff now, and it's not Not a pretty safe place.
Nice place on East Houstonic Street. It's got all kinds of ramps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I told them to come on down. They're welcome here anytime they want, so.
Hey, did a nice job over there, Glenn.
Okay, so we all in agreement to let them temporarily be at Pine Grove until we can figure this out some more?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, Glenn, you can get them over there.
Hey, Bob, what are we doing to replace or help replace the equipment that got inadvertently tossed in the trash? Anything?
I know Pat said he would help. I know I've got some plywood I could donate. If anybody needs it, let us know. I mean, Glenn, if you need stuff.
Yeah, I guess some plywood or.
Let me find out what, I'm not exactly sure. Obviously, it was all stuff that was put there and there's no inventory list. So I'm not exactly sure what was there of value. I know there's a little ramp like I have in my driveway missing, and maybe a rail or something that they had, but we can figure that out.
Yeah.
You're welcome to move all my stuff down there. I can have my driveway back.
Well, I think somebody needs to consult the kids and say, what do you need so we can help replace it and get this up and running? Because they're going to be chomping at the bit here if the weather ever gets better.
Yeah,
It's gonna get.
that's a conversation I'll have.
Okay,
Okay, Glenn.
good.
In the meantime, Glenn, you and Dan keep searching and see if we can come up with something else, okay?
Sounds good. Thank you, Bob.
Okay, thank you. All right, thanks, Glenn.
Mr. Ruffley had one more thing to say, it looked like.
Go ahead, John.
Well, I was just gonna, there we go. I was just gonna mention the pavilion and the reason why that happened. I mean, what does the board think of that? I mean, it could happen again. Rainy day, let's move everything inside. I mean, is everybody all right with that? I mean, I don't know what you want to do there. I mean, I'm definitely not against it. I mean, I want the kids to be able to have the ramps on the court and stuff. But what do you want me to do when they're in the when they go under the pavilion? I mean,
They shouldn't be under there.
I gotta instruct my guys. Right now, my guys are to take the stuff out when they see it under there.
Okay, leave them out of there, John. Just tell them to keep it on the courts.
Let's try to communicate to the kids, that if they move the ramps under there, it'll be a problem.
There's one
Well,
listening.
for a cheap tarp on it.
Is that okay, Glenn, if we keep them out on the court?
There's one of them listening right now, so I'll make sure that he gets the word out. And yes, and we'll just make it known, especially with the weather getting nicer now. I think, with winter coming in and the weather, they gravitated under there. But I know, the pavilion's going to be used for a lot of other stuff. There's already people, under there with the picnic tables. So I think that option, I think everybody understands that option's kind of gone and everybody's going to be moving back outside. But I'll reiterate the point.
Okay, great. Okay, so that's a wrap then. We will put them there and keep them on the court until further notice. All right, thank you.
Thanks again, guys.
Thank you. Okay. Next on our agenda is the tree issues. Okay. Let's see, Judy sent us a list of damaged trees that need to be taken down, and currently we have no tree warden. We have somebody interested that may be doing it, but my suggestion is to the board is to find somebody in the interim to contract get some of these, the worst of these trees down, and then advertise for a tree warden starting in our new fiscal year. So I'll entertain any thoughts from the board or any other.
Yeah, this list is nice, Bob, but that's people calling up and saying this and this and this and this.
That's what I mean. It's going to have to be
Yeah, but-
prioritized, John. And I want to make sure they're town trees too.
you took the words right out of my mouth. Just because they say it doesn't make it so.
Yeah, so we're
I'm
gonna
sure
have to.
John Ruffley ran into that problem all the time. That's your tree. It's your problem.
But I know there's a couple on here that are in really bad shape, and I went up to the one on Myrtle Street, and that one's in bad shape, and that, I'm not sure if that's our tree or not, but it looks like the town tree up there on Myrtle Street.
Well, there's a town tree book, so.
Is it really?
Yeah, there is. And just so you know, that budget is not healthy either.
Yeah. So I was figuring if we can just
I'm not,
get out there and look at get somebody out there to look at these trees and see which ones are really the ones that really need to come down before July. Because hopefully we took care of it in next year's budget.
we'll have to appropriate money in this year's budget at the annual town meeting, probably.
Okay, if we have to, we can. Because if these trees are in danger of hurting somebody, I mean, it's gonna cost us a lot more money if somebody gets hurt, especially once they report it.
Sandy, how much is left in that budget?
I don't have my expenditure report right here, so I'm thinking it's maybe 3,000.
No, that's not gonna take many down.
Not big trees, but you take a lot of little trees down, or branches and stuff like that.
Well, if you guys are okay with trying to get somebody in here, Judy's been working on this, and she's got somebody that possibly can come in and do this. We can contract them into doing it.
To do the work or to manage the tree warden?
Just to, right now, to take this list and see what's prioritized and get the ones down that we need to, and maybe give us a rough estimate before he starts cutting anything down so we can plan on it.
So, I'm sorry, my voice is losing.
You all right?
Yeah, we have to do prevailing wages for this, too.
Okay.
Can't just get anybody that doesn't have that, you know?
Right. Well, this guy's a tree warden in another town.
Oh, okay. So that's what I was wondering if you were talking about, or the actual person to cut the trees.
Yeah. So we get him in here and he'll say yes, yes, no, or we can wait on this one or whatever. Well, we just gotta get him that book, or maybe John can help us out or whatever, to see what trees are actually on town property. We can mark them.
I think we have the book in the office.
Okay. Is everybody good with that, or anybody got a different idea?
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
All right, I'll have Judy contact, John, you good with that?
Yeah, sure, definitely.
All right, we'll have Judy contact that guy and we'll go from there. All right, thank you.
And Mr. Chairman, I know Mr. Hall wanted to speak about this issue, so I
Okay.
just want to see if we're covered his questions and concerns.
Is he still there? Richard, you still there?
Yeah, no, I'm still here. No, I mean, my only comment was, this was brought up some time ago, that, you know, if we're looking at cutting down trees, we just need to be careful that we're following the state guidelines, as far as if we're looking at a particular tree that, you know, there may be the need for a public hearing on it. But, you know, that's obviously to the select board to work along those guidelines.
Yeah. Also, Richard, we, next year, in the budget, we're gonna actually look to replant trees once we come down also too, so.
Yeah, no, that'd be good.
So, yeah, so when we get the new tree warden, right now I wanna make sure any of these things that are emergency,
Oh, yeah.
they get down before somebody gets hurt. Okay, so I'm kinda like erring on the side of caution here, so.
Yeah.
So nobody gets hurt. And once we get rolling with a new tree warden, then that's what we can do, okay? If we need something that's in, I guess the only time I've ever seen the trees have a hearing was down on next to River Run, I do believe there was a hearing on that. But I do believe that was because they're near the wetlands too, so. Okay, is that good enough for now, Richard?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is number 11, the select board email. We want to use the town email. Cindy and I were talking about this, and it's probably a good idea if we start using our town email for a couple of reasons. It's for our security or ourselves, and we're not risking our general email out there too. I'll listen to what the board has to say on that. But one problem I have, every time I try to get on it, I can't get on it, or it disappears. One time I had like 30 messages and I clicked on one, they all disappeared. So, and if I can get it on my phone, that'd be huge. So, Sandy, you want to speak on that a little bit?
So everyone has an email for the town of Dalton. In fact, Dan Esco, yours was set up just this morning, I believe, or Friday, I'm not sure which, but I do have that information for you, which I will forward to you. And it has, you know, a temporary password that you can make your own permanent password.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And so it is, I mean, we're paying for them, so we might as well use them. And it's just simply your first initial of your first name and your last name at dalton-ma.gov, like everyone else's. So I can certainly resend your emails to each one of you. I don't know what your passwords are, though. Passwords can be reset, but it will take a call to our IT people. I do believe, I know others have their emails on their phones, so I don't.
Yeah, it's just a matter of how it comes through, because I got my Gmail account on there, but it should be, I used to have my work mail. If somebody could show me how to set it up on my phone, I'd love them.
Bob, I'll swing by with a beer or two, and I'll show you how to set it up. So anybody who needs help,
why only one or two?
yeah, exactly. No, anybody who needs help setting up the Outlook app on your phone, let me know, and I'm happy to do it. So.
Okay. What about our home computers too? So
Yeah, same thing. It's Outlook 365, so it's a web-based email. So it's just going to a website. If you just type in O365, you get to the sign-in. It's pretty straightforward.
So it's like MicrosoftOnline.com, isn't it? Something like that?
Yeah, you just go to O365.com. Same thing.
Okay. All right, Sandy, will you send out all those? Please send me my password I asked you to store, because I could never remember it.
Sure, and I do have that one, but I don't have any.
Number one, don't share passwords. Don't share passwords.
You'll have to change it, Bob.
Right, Dan Filio? Don't share passwords, right?
If anybody wants our town email, they can have it.
So others will have to figure it out. I don't know what theirs are, so.
Yeah, they can get a hold of who do we work for? Who do we work through to get to Mitch?
That would be Pat? Yes, that would be Pat.
Okay. Okay, guys, if you have any questions, call Pat. I'm sure he's appreciated. Okay.
Yep, maybe if I can, Mr. Chairman, Pat, I see that you're on the call. If you could just share Mitch's email with us, and everybody could reach out to Mitch separately and get their passwords reset. He's pretty helpful in that. So
I can send it to everybody.
Point of clarity.
Yeah, we should probably get Pat to. It is his.
That's his kind of like everything has to go through Pat. So
it's his department. So
yeah.
Can we set a date for when all communication, email communication, will just go through those accounts?
How long do you think it'd take us, Dan? About a week?
Are you asking me?
Yeah. I don't know a thing about it.
Well, Sandra's going to share an email with me shortly, and I'll reset my password. I have a temporary passwords. You guys maybe already had accounts, so you'll have to reset your passwords if you don't know it already. I don't know, a week.
How about next Monday,
April 5th?
3rd? Is that April 3rd or 4th or whatever it is?
What's
April 4th.
April 4th?
Yep, let's shoot for that.
So I don't know, Pat did unmute. Do you guys still have questions for Pat or not?
Is he still there?
Pat, are you there? Pat,
Hello, Pat.
Pat's got a new phone. He may be having problems connecting.
yeah, he's
you hear me,
unmuted.
I'm unmuted. Can you hear me or no?
We got you now, kid.
Okay. Yeah, if you need a password, just email me and I will forward you back a new password as they send them to me.
Okay. Is that good with everyone?
Just, Bob, quick question. Do we still have the option of keeping our email address, our personal email address?
Yeah.
The reason I bring this up, because I wish he was here, Mark Stroh, about a month ago, asked us all for our email address so he can put it on his Facebook page with the rationale, so in case constituents wanted to get in touch with us over a town issue. And I gave him mine, So, can we still utilize our personal email addresses and not embrace the governmental email address?
Well, if we do that, then you're opening up your personal email to review if there's ever a request for information.
We'll have Mark repost the emails on his website.
The other thing is the study that was done was not to publicize all the emails for security reason. But that's your guys' call if you want to put it out there to the public on a Facebook or on a website.
Okay. Yeah, let's get them all. Let's get them all on our government ones. See how it works. I'm sure we'll have a few trickles in our personal emails to everybody catches up. But I'll have Mark put our new emails on the website for anybody looking to get a hold of us, and we could get them up on our website because I know my personal email is up on the town website, so we'll get that changed too.
May I ask a question, Mr. Bishop?
Yes, sir.
Would it be possible for the select board to have a general email, selectboard@daltonma.gov, that could be sent in with questions to be sent in that could be seen possibly by Judy or the person at that desk, just in case, so that if somebody wants to send something to Bob and they're having trouble getting through to Bob, that it would be the information would also be seen at a different spot.
That'd be a good idea, actually. It'd make me feel better if somebody, so sometimes, like you said, sometimes we don't get the message,
Right. That's a great idea, Dan.
I support that.
Yes. Pat, can you make that happen?
Yeah, I can make it happen. I can see about putting in a general email to where all the emails that come in to each one of you individually would go to not to Judy, but to a select board email that she can view.
Okay. That'd be huge. Thank you.
So just to be clear, Pat, they just want a general select board email, but still use their own emails that are dalton-ma.gov.
Yeah, so there's still going to be all the select board emails individual, and then one general one
Yes.
where everything goes into, just in case somebody doesn't see it, Judy would know what's going on.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you. Greatly appreciated. Okay, we done with that one? Okay, now we need to go to our FY22 budgets. Sandy, been knocking herself out on these things.
Mr. Bishop, with your permission, I'll be leaving.
Thank you, Dan.
So, I've got them all done with the exception of 2. I never was able to complete 2 of them today, so, and that would be my departmental budget and the streetlights.
Okay, one question before you start, Sandy. Do you need another meeting next Monday, or you want to wait a couple weeks to give you more time?
I don't think I can wait a couple weeks because those budgets have to go on the town report.
All right, then we'll meet next Monday, okay? Or do you need to meet later on this week?
How is everybody's, I mean, I have a Wednesday night finance committee meeting, and I don't know how everybody would think about a Thursday, very quick.
Yeah, as long as we get 48 hours notice, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, so can everybody make Thursday at 7?
Or
This
6?
week or next week?
This week.
Earlier than 7 if you can, but,
We can do it at 6 if you want.
You mean April 1st?
Whatever this Thursday is, or, yeah, April 1st. Yes.
I mean, they're gonna give you enough time and then we won't have a meeting for a couple of weeks? Is that gonna work out for you, Sandy?
well, I guess I need your help on that, because what else is it that you guys need to do? Approve the warrant articles?
Yeah, we need that.
So are there other warrant articles that I haven't been informed about?
Not that I know of.
That I know of.
Okay, because all the other warrant articles that are on there are pretty much standard, and I think I can include additional funds for this current year with those articles. And I added the one for, is it View Street?
Yes.
So
Yeah,
I added
that's on there.
Yeah, I added the one for View Street, and I'm not sure if there's anything else. So are we not doing any capital projects waiting till the end of June for that?
I think that was the plan, to have a special at the end of June like we did 2 years ago.
Okay. And the town meeting is going to be the same date that we already discussed, May 3rd,
Yep.
right?
Yep. We need to talk about how we want to do that at one of our next meetings, so.
Okay, but it is going to be May 3rd.
Yep.
But we normally give the place.
It's going to be Nessicus.
Okay, I think that's on there already.
Yeah, it should be.
And if not, I'll make sure. So I guess then I'll try to have that for viewing Thursday night too, also.
Okay.
And I guess an approval of it has to happen?
Yes.
I don't know, so I'm
We
just,
have to vote on it. We have to vote on to approve it.
okay. Because that also goes in the town report.
Correct. And then we got to get it posted also.
I'm not, Debbie will help me with that.
Debbie takes care of that part of it.
Okay. So anything else before I begin?
I just want to make sure everybody can be there for Thursday. John, can you be there?
Yeah, I can do it.
Joe?
Yep.
Dan?
Yep, I'm fine with it. Just want to make sure it's enough time for
Yeah,
Sandra
that's my big concern.
get ready. I mean, I can do a week from today as well, so.
I'm just worried about this stuff having to get into the town report. And I know that I will have them done for sure, because I want to get them finished for the finance committee meeting Wednesday night. So it's not going to take long to do them. I wish I had like 45 more minutes and they would have been done, but I didn't, so.
Okay, so we'll just have Judy, can you have Judy tomorrow set a meeting for
Yes.
Thursday?
Yeah.
6 o'clock.
Thursday,
You
6.
want to- Yeah, 6 o'clock.
Okay. I
It
will.
shouldn't take long.
No, I don't think so.
What time did you say?
6.
6?
Yep.
Okay, so I just want to point out that I sent you 3 PDFs. One of them is that 5-page financial spreadsheet that we use to match the tax rate. It's complete with everything that you've all approved already. It does not contain the approvals of these budgets that we're going over today.
Okay.
And so that's one of the PDFs. And the other one is a revision of 2 budgets that had to be revised that you had already temporarily approved. So I wanted to go over them with you if you were interested.
Yeah, please.
So the first budget that was revised was the Board of Health budget, 510. When we did this budget, we neglected to realize that throughout the FY22 year, this person would be completing steps 1 through 3. So they needed to get added to the budget. It was just one single number that was the first step, but this person will actually be going through 2 other steps, ending up with her step 3 on the year anniversary of her start. So it didn't add much difference to the budget, but it just needed to be done because the rate increased, a few cents, whatever. So I don't know if you still have to temporarily approve it or you just want to know about it. It's up to you.
We can TA it.
Okay.
TA.
Yep.
All right. And the second budget is the sewer and drains maturing debt and interest. So this week, after Dawn completed this budget last Monday and everybody approved it, so did the Finance Committee last Wednesday. But on Friday, I received some information from Ty and Bond, who is doing our sewer system evaluation study, of which they had said that they would be expending through June 30th, 2021, an additional $80,000. And we didn't have that figure until Friday. So Dawn had prepared a number for the $40,000 borrowing that we were going to do, but it now is $120,000. So she changed that figure to be more accurate to what we will be borrowing this year before the year end.
Then the TA guys.
Bob, a quick question. Sandy, with this additional $80,000 for the sewer study, how much is the running total to date, or approximately?
So right now we've spent $40,000, and this $80,000 will be spent before June 30th. So it'll be $120,000. We have a purchase order for $149,000 in contract with Ty and Bond. But they do have some additional information. They're going to need like an additional borrowing of $100,000. I can't quite recall what that is
No,
for.
it's okay. I thought we spent like $300,000 to start with it.
Not for the sewer system engineering study, but we had other studies too. So
Initially, they were doing a inflow and infiltration study.
Right.
To determine if it was leaking. And then the engineering study would be about how to go about fixing it. And that's where we're at now, right? The engineering part?
Yeah.
Okay. But I do think we spent $300,000 on the inflow and infiltration study initially.
I can't recall that, John, but if you want, you can stop in and we can look at that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll waste any more time. Thanks.
Okay.
Right. Thanks, Sandy.
You're welcome.
Yeah, one thing about that whole study and stuff, if we can figure that out, that's gonna save a lot of money in the sewer treatment bills, because we're sending a lot of just stormwater down to Pittsfield to get cleaned. So, okay, go ahead, Cindy, I'm sorry.
That's okay. So the budgets you have before you begin with, hold on one second. The town manager's budget. And so this budget is made up of salaries and expense. I've put in the contracted budget for FY22 for the town manager. And it's 164,319 for 164,319 for salaries, made up of the town manager, the administrative assistant, and the interdepartmental clerk, and then 7,309 for expense. I did email Mr. Hutchison and asked him if he wanted to change any of the expenses, and he decided that he would not, and see how it goes for the year and maybe recoup in the next budget if season, so if he needed to.
Okay, TA?
Yep. Sounds good.
Okay.
The next budget is the assessors, and we did advertise to find a new principal assessor, to no avail. We didn't get any taking on that, so we decided to use a regional resource group as a contracting assessing service. So that contract has been signed. They are going to be here tomorrow for the first time, and take a look at what needs to be done in that office, who's responsible for what. You know, we have a 11-hour-a-week assessor and a 20-hour-a-week assessor clerk. I have decided, with your permission, of course, the assessor that is the 11-hour has been asked if she wants to be the principal assessor. So that comes with a different grade, which I see is not right on here. It should be grade 9, step 7. The reason she's going to step 7 is her 40 years of assessing service. She knows everything about assessing. She's been doing it for 40 years. She's also the principal assessor in Worthington, excuse me. So with your permission, I gave her years of service on our wage scale.
Perfect.
So with that, we also need a third assessor. Our code says we need. I think the Town Manager Act has 3 assessors in there or something. I forget what it is. Bylaw maybe. So we have to find one. And I decided probably the best way to tackle getting that third assessor is to call that a stipend, where it would be a monthly stipend. The Board of Assessors meets monthly. It's not going to, I've budgeted 4 hours for that. It's not going to probably come to 4 hours. It may not 1 month, but the next month, so it'll overlap. So it's not held to a 4-hour time frame. It's just, we need someone to be able to sign, especially if someone's out ill. So we have at least to have 2 signed signatures, which is what we've been working with right now for abatements, for all kinds of things that happen in the assessor's office. So that's what I did with that.
That's good. Actually, I like that.
Sounds good, Sandy.
So, yeah, go ahead. So we TA that?
Looks like you're overall able to see a 20% decrease in the budget, though.
Yes, definitely.
So, good job. TA.
Only that for the trees.
So the next budget is the telephone, internet, email budget. Now, this budget really has been level funded for a long, long time. There were a couple slight increases last year, and the increases are very slight again this year, but I did see the need to go up because the invoices are coming in, pretty much at what you see there. And I increased the telephone equipment maintenance because we had some major issues not long ago that that whole budget is pretty much gone, that light item. And I'm wondering if you would all entertain, there's been some push from the police department to get a new telephone system, which would then include town hall. So that might be a capital project coming up.
From what I understand, what we were told, Sandy, that's really probably should be upgraded because the department's missing calls down there.
Yeah.
And I don't know how the phones work at the town hall or anything, but it would be nice to have an upgraded phone service that.
Right.
So yeah, I would be in favor of that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm wondering how, I mean, there was just one estimate, but I'm wondering if the state has certain, you got to run that dispatch center too, so.
Yeah, that's the other thing. We miss a call. I mean, we're in a mess.
Yeah. So, anyway, that'll come with the capital budget. So this budget went up $1,700.
TA?
Yeah. Yeah.
The next budget is Conservation Commission. I added some extra dollars, not much, but for professional technical training.
Yeah, that's the only thing that really costs a lot on that.
Yeah.
Because.
It depends on how many want to go,
Right. Yeah, and it's good because some of them really like to go to. I used to go to all of them, but I don't have time anymore.
So this budget is up 2.81%, a total of $54.
Whoa.
TA?
Yeah.
Hey.
I'd just like to tell everybody out there too, there's any fees that the commission collects from notice of intents and stuff, they have a separate budget, which we can buy our own equipment for and stuff like that, books and whatnot. So, we don't have to come to the town for that, so.
Oh, is that that's the,
It's a special account that we
yeah,
have.
special revenue fund.
Right,
And all the fees for your newspaper advertisements go in there
yeah,
and actually help to build it up. So
yes, absolutely.
there definitely is some money in there.
Thank you.
So the next budget is a new budget. It's called Town Advertising. If you recall, I spoke about the fact that the town hall budget, for some reason, pays for the town advertising of every department. So I thought it would be best to move that out all by itself. That way, it's not beholden to if the budget's overrun because of what's going to happen this year. A lot of help wanted ads. If we have bid RFPs, they can overrun this budget, and therefore then the whole town hall budget will be in jeopardy. So something that budget has budgeted will only, if one line item is in the negative, it affects all of that department. So
Oh, okay.
and
Percent.
yeah, so I moved it out by itself. The finance committee thought it was also a good idea. So this is the new department for town
Is that enough,
advertising.
Sandy? I mean, some of these ads are ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah, they are. And they have to be in the newspaper, so for
Yeah.
some, right?
Yep. Okay, TA?
Yeah.
TA.
So the next budget is the Central Berkshire Regional School District budget, and I attached, their little spreadsheet stuff regarding their budget. But I'm not sure I mentioned this. I may have mentioned this. We were going to get a $41,000 credit on our, what do you call that? Let's see. on the, a grant called ESSER2 funds. So it was gonna be an offset of 41,000 on our required local contribution. But unfortunately, DESI has not approved that for use by the school system.
Yeah,
So,
it's not gonna make it through the state budget process.
right, so we are not gonna get that benefit. So this budget that you see before you is the way it was before we were told about that benefit, so.
Is there any possibility of getting it in the future?
If so, it could, if it is, it could come back to us as a credit on one of the assessments.
Right.
Whether that is gonna hold true, I don't know.
Okay. Thanks, Andy.
Andy, if that money comes back, does it go to the town or the school system?
Well, it's supposed to be for the towns. There were like 3 towns, I believe, or 4 towns that were able to use that credit that are now not able to use it. So it was destined for for those towns that were the required local contribution was increased over last year. So, yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know, I don't, like I said, it could come back to the town. I don't know that it would go back to the school.
Okay. We'll wrestle them for it.
Yeah. That's a hefty sum. 9,951,000.
Oh, I know. It's huge.
TA, and obviously it'll be up for vote at town meeting.
Correct.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Yep, TA.
And to complement that budget is our vocational education budget, which sees a decrease this year. I thought it was going to be a much bigger decrease until this past Friday when I saw 4 additional 9th graders come to this budget. So I always estimate an extra 3 just because I think even though we budgeted an extra 3 last year, it really didn't come to fruition because, I mean, if you notice, I have a vocational education headcount sheet where it shows how many students. So the first block you see is this year's 23 students. The second block you see is the budgeted of 27 last year. The actual attendees ended up being 18. So we budgeted for 9 extra students last year, which that will go back to free cash.
Good.
So this, this is very hard to budget for just because students come in and come out and.
And we had several through the years, in the middle of the year, requests to go.
Yeah.
I think one of the main reasons is the high number to start with. A student has to commit to this by a date certain. I think it's April 1st for the following fall.
Right.
So a lot of kids sign up for it and then don't really follow through. But we have to budget for it in the meantime.
Yes, we do. This is also one of the budgets that usually has a pretty hefty leftover budget. So if other departments need extra appropriation, instead of voting that at town meeting, it can be voted in May and June. And we've used this budget to take care of those kinds of things. So.
Okay, cool. Okay, TA, everyone?
Yep.
Next budget is the transfer station budget. And in here are our own trash removal increases from the contract. But, you know, it didn't really do too much for our line item budgeting though, because the change is only $151, so. We took away a commercial recycle box haul expense because we've never been billed for that. And I do believe this recycling services number that you see is probably gonna take away probably the commercial box rental as well, because they're gonna be doing recycling differently now that we have an EEC coordinator. So she'll be instrumental in securing that the town of Dalton's residents recycle.
Okay, yay?
Yay.
Yay.
This is the last budget that I have before you, the sewer treatment budget. This budget really surprised me. I thought when we got our last bill of $895,000 that we would probably have to increase our intergovernmental sewer agreement line item. But I did a little analysis, which I started like 3 years ago, and also asking the city of Pittsfield for their enterprise fund expenditures. So whatever they're expending in their enterprise fund this year is what we will be billed on next year. And it just, when I did the analysis, I used the flow rates that were billed on our actual this year. And I came up to an annual fee of approximately the same as it was this year. So I was surprised by that. But they had lowered some budgetary items. For instance, they encumbered almost $400,000 worth of encumbrances from the prior year into the new year last year, but didn't have that same amount for this year. So that helped our budget to be pretty much the same. And as you know, this is one of the departments that make up our sewer rate.
Sandy, do we ever get a report on if they calculate the flow meter going to Pittsfield or not?
We get a reading from Pittsfield every month on our flows from, actually it starts in Hinsdale. We have a meter between Hinsdale and Dalton that gets read, and then the meter between Pittsfield and Dalton and Pittsfield gets read. So okay. We bill some of this invoice that we bill some of.
Hinsdale, right?
Say that again?
We back bill Hinsdale?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's revenue, that's an estimated receipt. Because we pay for the whole budget out of here, but it's an estimated receipt coming into the town. So.
Okay. Okay.
Yay.
Yay.
And I think that's it. I will have the last two budgets on Thursday before you.
Okay. Any questions for Sandy?
No, thanks again for the continued great work, Sandy. It's not easy, but thank you.
You're welcome. I like budgets.
Thank you, Sandy.
I know. Okay, this leads us to our town manager updates. You have anything else, Sandy, you want to talk about?
I thought I had something down here somewhere. Oh, so it's funny that you were talking about the plots at the old Dalton High land, because I was talking with Hill Engineer, because I noticed that they had an outstanding PO, and I wanted to know if they were going to, work on the rest of that PO, and the PO has to do with plotting out those plots of
Correct.
6 houses. So they wanted me to ask the select board if they're still interested in that engineering that they have on a PO. And I guess that's the question I'm asking.
Well, if we don't do it now and decide to do it down the road, it's probably gonna be more expensive, right? The money's already there.
Possibly, but I
Are they gonna put in pins for these lots and stuff, or just, if they're gonna put some permanent markers in, but then if we're gonna use it for playing fields and stuff, it's probably not a good idea.
Or part of it may become a wetland over in that corner. Remember we talked about that, and we might only have half the area for houses that we had on the original plan.
If they have that brook come up out of the ground again, like the one proposal
I
said.
think we ought to put a hold on this till the whole issue gets cleared up.
with the Walker Brook issue, all that too.
Yeah, because one thing, Sandy, is they may want to put the brook used to run above ground. And that's one way of controlling the flood. If they put it up above ground, they can get a lot more water through there.
Yeah.
And so that's one possibility, so.
Yep. The state's big on that, what they call,
I know, it's really interesting what they call it.
Basically, it becomes a channel.
daylighting. That's it.
Yeah, there it is, daylighting.
They're daylighting. They're
Yeah.
really big on that these days. So
The only trouble
I
is
think,
a liability too. That's what I don't like about them.
we should put the, any building lot plans on hold till we get a clear view of what we're doing here. Which could be years.
So possibly then I could tell them we'll just close that PO, and then when it comes up again,
Yeah, we'll just have to reopen it.
yeah, or just do a new one just for that.
Do a new one. Yep.
Okay. The other thing is the Walker Brook project needs a town match of $50,000. It's just, the grant that we got says we have to match. And I don't know, do you want to wait to do that with the rest of the capital projects?
I prefer to wait to the rest of the capital projects.
Okay.
It's just my own opinion. If the board has any other opinion.
Yeah. It sounds like a capital project.
Okay. I think as long as we let them know we're going to put that before town meeting, it shouldn't be an issue at all, so.
Right.
And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Sandy. Okay, items for future agendas. Anybody have any? I got one on here that Jane wanted, the hazardous waste. So we'll put that on the next, agenda.
How are we doing? Sorry, I just had a quick question for Sandy. How are we doing on the recruitment or for the new town planner?
I can answer that.
Yeah, why don't you answer that?
We talked to Judy about that, John Boyle and I. There's just one person from, I think, Oregon or Washington or someplace. Where was that, John?
Yeah, I think she said Washington. It was, you don't like to say anything bad about it anyway, but it didn't look like a serious inquiry.
Yeah. So right now we're at zilch, but we have a backup plan for a little.
Yeah, we got a plan.
So just so you know, that advertisement on the website and in the wherever it was advertised is open until position is filled. So there was no deadline for that.
Yep.
Great.
Okay. Anything else for future agendas? Okay, remarks of the select board.
I had a future agenda item, but I just forgot it. Sorry.
Okay.
I'll look back to it in a moment.
I'm sorry, I got one too. Taylor Starbuck wrote me today. She wants to do another cleanup of the pines, so I think it's in May. So I'll put that on an upcoming agenda.
That sounds great.
Oh, I know what it was. I know there's a lot of effort going on, but I always like to keep track of it after I don't hear about it for a while, is the crosswalk lights.
I think that they've been given their notice to proceed last week. I'm not sure if they've set up, I think they wanted to look at the actual work areas, and I'm not sure if that occurred or not. But is John still here?
Yeah, he's here.
Yeah, we had a pre-construction meeting this week. It went well. It was via Zoom, obviously. And they dig safety area this week, so the utilities will be marked out. They'll probably be marked out by tomorrow. And I am going to be meeting the project manager on site either the end of this week or beginning of next week. I can shoot an email out if anyone wants to show up for that. I'll let you know.
No, just
as soon as I know.
A couple weeks, John, would be great. Just kind of keep the conversation going. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it'll start pretty quick now. All the planning is done, so the project will be starting.
Great, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Okay. Select chair updates. I just want to tell everybody, I sent an email around. I met with Tom Hutchinson on last Friday. Had a very nice talk with him. He has an apartment in town, which he stayed at the other night. He's looking forward. He's going to be up here a couple more Fridays, but he's not sure which ones yet. And he kind of likes to be taken around and shown different various businesses in town and introduced to different people in the town. So when I find out what it is, I'll reach out and see if somebody else is available. It'd be nice if two of us could go. And he had some real interest in the station area and where some of the members are, like Hill Engineering, Kelly's, and stuff like that. But also just to show them around the town and the restaurants and whatnot. So he is very impressed. He's very excited about coming. He met with Sandy. Sandy gave him a tour of the town hall, and he's really excited about coming. So I was very happy. We had a great talk. So that's that. Okay. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, just one quick update on John's idea about submitting that project. I texted a friend who works for a different congressman, and they are submitting earmarks in May. So, John, to your point, the sooner we get together with Neil, the better. So, so they need everything done by April and submitting to the committee by May.
Joe, I'm glad you brought that word up. That's the way these things work. They're funds that are specifically earmarked for a municipality. I've seen this happen in the past with bike path money and stuff like that. And the community gets the money and it gets earmarked. But again, it's very political.
Yeah.
And I would like to think that Richard Neal would be in our corner.
Yeah.
I just think it's worth a shot. But
Absolutely, yeah. So it's, to your point, to your point and John's point, I could go back to the, hey, submit the bridge plan and ask if there's anything else we can add to the list, right? So, because it looks like the time's not on our side.
I mean, is there anything specific that you can think of right now, Joe? Just constitute a major capital project?
I just think of the, I don't know what the condition is of our sewer lines or anything else.
Absolutely terrible.
Right, and they are looking at I don't want to call them green type projects, but things that can clean up the drinking water, can clean up the process, can clean up all sorts of things. So I don't know if there's like a ballpark earmark we put into that for any type of sewer. Although we're getting the $630,000 from the COVID recovery, that's not going to be a big enough chunk for sewer lines. And it looks like, when they talk about infrastructure, that's what they're talking about, the big projects kind of thing. But anyways, you see what Neil's office says. But they're looking at submitting by May to the transportation.
Well, I think, excellent that the sooner we can put this together and get it in, the better. Get on the ground floor and talk to his office and see, encourage him to move it along, I guess.
All I can say is no,
Yeah, that's right.
Hey,
Who's more deserving? Another issue is, I don't like to bring this up publicly, but there's a major company in this town, manufacturing company, that ships goods via truck, via Houstonic Street.
Yeah, they do.
So, if the Main Street intersection up there, which is the only way out of town, was down, this company would have to ship their goods to the east, down to the Connecticut Valley, down to the Turnpike. And it's kind of a national security type issue. We really shouldn't be talking about this, but it's something else we can throw in the application, that's all.
It's a good try. Yeah.
Use anything we can.
Hey, Joe,
Yeah,
what was the name, what's the exact name of this infrastructure bill you're talking about?
That's what it is. It's the infrastructure bill.
That's it, huh?
It's a 2021 infrastructure bill. It's about $3 trillion in projected spend. And what they're doing is 1% of Congress, what they call the contingency spend or whatever they have, and they basically take that 1% and they use it for earmarks. So basically they divvy it up amongst all the Congress representatives, and then they put their earmarks into the bill. They actually took a vote 10 years ago to get rid of earmarks, but they brought them back. And it's a shared agreement between Democrats and Republicans to use earmarks. So that's kind of how they're going to bring it all together and get it passed. So
well, that's how it works, Joe.
Yeah.
Thank
Well,
you.
that's all I did have when you were mentioning another potential project, and that would be the source, which is going to obviously be a multi-million-dollar project. If this not insurance, but this engineering company that we're paying right now to come up with a proposal could put something together and say, Dalton's going to do this amount of work, we've been hired to engineer it, we're in the process, here's the price tag, possibly we could submit it as a separate entity.
Wouldn't hurt to try.
Yeah, I mean, we can let them handle it. If they're at that stage where they know what they're doing, I mean, know what's got to be done. You must have a rough idea by now. Just a thought.
Okay, we all set?
Yeah.
You all set, John? Joe?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, let's move to our announcements. I'm gonna leave off. I'm just gonna look for the town hall opening. I'm gonna say, refer to the town website when it'll be opening, and we'll hopefully get the information out there.
If I know what you could say, didn't mean to interrupt you, but
That's okay.
there's been a big demand for the brush pile to be open. And I was over there, what's today, Monday? I was over there Saturday, and it was open.
Yeah, John said he was gonna open it.
Yeah, he said next week, but it was open this Saturday.
Not good.
Yeah, well, so, I don't know what the official date is, but people are chomping at the bit for that.
Yeah, actually, John, that was a great job because I think you opened it last week. If you had staff to do it, sounds like you did because the formal open is not until the April 1st deadline. Is when it's technically open, right? So
Yeah, he said he was gonna open if he had the help.
yeah, that's great.
Okay. Let's see, the Memorial Day Parade has been canceled, but the Dalton American Legion may do something in their parking lot, so stay tuned for more information on that. The Town of Dalton Board of Registrars would like to notify the voters that for the 2021 annual town elections, voters will be allowed to vote early/absentee voting by mail and in person. If you desire to vote by mail, please print, fill out, and sign the application that can be found on the Town of Dalton website at www.dalton-mat.gov and send it to or drop it off at the town clerk's office. You can also call the town clerk's office at 684-6111, extension 14 or 15, to request an application. Early voting in person will be held in the office of the town clerk, 462 Main Street, beginning on Monday, April 26, 2021, through Thursday, April 29, 2021, and on May 3, 2021, to Wednesday, May 5, 2021. The hours of early voting in person will be from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Note also the polling hours for the official election day at the CRA on Monday, May 10, 2021, will be held from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. If you have any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate or contact the town clerk's office at 684-6111, extension 14 or 15. The Town of Dalton Cemetery Department requests that all winter decorations placed on cemetery lots in the Dalton cemeteries be removed by April 15th, including containers. All of the decorations still in place after April 15th, 2021 shall be subject to removal and discarded by the department. Summer decorations may be placed on the cemetery lots after May 15th, 2021. Families are asked to stop by the cemetery office to determine if any non-conforming items, mementos, are at the cemetery office. Residents may call the office at 684-6117 if they have any questions. Transfer station new FY 21 prices. This first vehicle sticker is $115. The second one's $40. The bags for 30 gallons are $4, and the package of 10 are $40. The small bags, which are 15 gallons, are $3.30, and the package of 10 are $33. For a complete list, go to dalton-mass.gov and click on the transfer station buttons. Okay, a message from the police department. The Dalton Police Department lobby is now open to the public. Please feel free to stop in and see an officer. Social distancing and masks are required, and only 2 people in the lobby are at the same time. The processing of firearms permits are processed between the hours of 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. by appointment only. Please call 413-684-0300 to schedule your appointment. No walk-ins are being accepted at this time. A check or money order for $100 made payable to the town of Dalton. Renewals over the age of 70 are free. 2020 to 2021 winter parking ban. It's almost over, guys. The Dalton Police Department is reminding the citizens of Dalton of the winter parking ban, which goes into effect on November 15th, 2020, and will be in effect to April 15th, 2021. There is no on-street parking allowed between the hours of 1 a.m. and 6 a.m. during this period. The Dalton Library is now open 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Monday, Thursday, and Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Tuesday, excuse me, and 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Wednesday. Anyone in a high-risk population may schedule a time in the morning to come by and buy themselves. No questions asked. Lobby pickup continues for anyone who would rather not enter the building. Call 684-6112 for more information. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Okay, is there a second?
Second?
Okay, roll call vote. Joe?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Bob? Yes. We'll see you Thursday at 6, everyone. Thank you. Good night, Dalton.
Right.
Night.